Hi everyone. Today we want to take a look at R Markdown and what we can use it for. R Markdown is a tool in our studio that makes your presentation easier. What I mean by that is, by default, when you are coding in R, most people will open up maybe Microsoft Word in such a way that they keep copying their results from R Studio to Microsoft Word and keep making the arrangement until the presentation is ready. But R Markdown is a tool in such a way that after you are done with your analysis in R Studio, you just click a button and it will generate the results and make it ready for presentation. So you see, it makes the work easier. So without wasting much time, we can quickly go into it. So when you open up your R Studio like this, you will notice that usually we can easily open up a new script which we are used to, which is this is the script, although it is untitled. But instead of doing that, we can now open up R Markdown. So when we do that, you will notice something here. It will ask us, we have, let me just title this one tutorial. So you can notice here that we have options, the default output to the HTML. We also have PDF, we have Word document. Another thing you might like to check out is there is also a presentation format outside the document, and that one has IO slides in HTML. It also has sliding also in HTML. It has PDF Beamer. If you are very conversant with LaTeX, you will know about it. Then it also has a PowerPoint. It also has Shiny document and Shiny presentation. So it has a lot of things you can explore. For the essence of this video, we'll be focusing on the document. And in the document, we'll be working on HTML, PDF, and then Word document. So first, I will select HTML and I'll click OK. So when it opens up, you will notice something here that we have the title, that is the tutorial that I named it already. This is the author, this is the date, and this is the output, HTML output. Then there is something I want to explain here. You will notice something unlike the usual scripts that you are used to. There is these are three signs here, symbol here. It calls backtick. So it is used in R Markdown to indicate the beginning and the end of a code. Alright, so and when you write it, you put this curly bracket and then you put arrow inside it to indicate. For instance, look at line 32. If I put 3 backticks and I open and close the curly arrow and I put R, once I put R, if I remove R, notice something. Just look at this place. If I put R, it shows this. That means a code has started. And if the code has started, when it comes to an end, I will put this 3. It means that it has ended. Then anything that is inside here is the code that I'm interested in. Alright, so that's by the way. So I will go ahead and delete this. So coming back here, there is something that we have here. This is the first code chunk. So what is it talking about? This is just like the arrow I talked about. When you put it, it indicates this play button. And this is the play where if you click on it, it runs that particular chunk of code. So, and then this is just like a comment. All right, you can just write it up here and then. But what I want to explain here is this include equals to false. What does it indicate? By default, this code, this first line of chunk of code will always be present once you open R Markdown. So why by default it is include equals to false is because this code here will make it such that when you print your result, this first line of code will not be added to your result, because by default it's not you that wrote this code, right? So that's why it is false, so that this code will not appear in whatever result you're printing. but if you want it to appear, you now change it to true. All right, but that is why this is here. Then for this one, this is the neat, that is the this is it here, neat. This is the button you click for you to compile your results to the output you desire. So this code here is what I want to explain again. Echo equals to true. It simply means that when you neat your results, what I mean by neat, when you compile your results, it will include both the code and the results. It will include the code that you wrote and as well as the results. That is what it means. Echo equals to true. By default, that is what it will do. So that means generally, once you print your results, it will include both code and the results. But mind you, if you are writing the code and along the line you get to a particular chunk of code and you don't want the code to show, rather you just want the result, you can write this echo inside that chunk of code and set it to false, and it will not write the code, it will only display the result. The thing I want to explain here is this is double hash and R Markdown. The double hash will make the font to be bigger than any other one, and it will bold it. So I want to also give another example. Let me just put one hash and then write the same R Markdown. Alright, so we are going to see the difference when you use one hash, two hash, or three hash. So then another outside the hash sign, then another thing I want to highlight here, you can see the way this thing is written in this R Markdown. This can be, for instance, you are writing a research and you want to talk about, maybe you've written a code and a result will be displayed up there, and you want to talk about the result. You can go ahead and say in your code, maybe you've labeled the figure, the plot, maybe figure 1. You can go ahead and write that in figure 1 this and that happened. You can go ahead and explain whatever is happening in that plot or maybe the result. This is where you can freely write as if you are writing in Microsoft Word. Whatever you write, that will be properly arranged. So then another thing I want to talk about here is this. You can see you have a double asterisk before and after the word. This is kind of highlighting this word. So when these words are printed now, this one will be highlighted. It will be different from others to show that there is a special thing happening with it. Alright, so now let me come here. This is a chunk of code, and what is here, we have the 3 backticks, and then we have arrow. I said that you can just write the car as the heading for that particular chunk of code. Then summary equals to car. By now, if you have watched my previous video, you'll be conversant with the data called cars. It is contained in the package called data sets. So what happens here, we are trying to know the summary of cars. We want to know the characteristics of the data called cars. This is what this code is talking about. But mind you, here we did not include echo. Alright, so if we did not include echo, this default here will act on it. What it simply means that when it will be printing this result, it will print both the code as well as the result, because by default we have said it is supposed to true here. Alright, then look at another code here. This is another line chunk of code. In this case, we have a data set called pressure, and then we want to plot it. Alright, we want to plot the pressure data. Alright, so and you see here now, in this case we do not want the code to show, we just want to see the plot. That is why echo equals to false was specified. Just like I said earlier, that by default it will be printing both the code and the result, but anytime you don't want the code, you have the flexibility to set echo equals to false in that chunk of code, and it will not print the code, it will rather print just the result. So that is it. Then another thing here is that you have the flexibility to write as much as you want, just like you are writing here. So once you have opened up like this backtick, semicolon. Once you have opened up a chunk of code and you close it, below it you are free to write as much as you want. Anything you want, you can keep writing, like to explain the results you have, whatever result you have here. So this is one good thing about the R Markdown. So having said that, we can go ahead and knit this particular R Markdown to the final output so that we can take a look at it. So when you click here knit, you will see knit to HTML, PDF, and then Word document, but we are going to knit it to HTML. So if we are doing that, I'll go ahead and I'll click knit. So if I do that, you can see it brought me to document. This implies that document is my current working directory. So if in your own case document is not what you want, you can go ahead and change to your own working directory. I've made a video about that on how to select your working directory. You can as well go ahead and check my videos. So I will be using document for this purpose. Then what will be defining, I'll go ahead and name the file. Let me knit_1. So if I do that, I will say save. So once I click save, it is rendering it now. So before you know it, this is my result. Wow. So this is my results. You can see how neat it looks. So there are things I want to point out here. This is the title. You see how big it is, and it is bolded. This is the author. This is the date. So there is something I also want you to notice here. When I use double hash symbol, it was written in bold and with a bigger font size, right? So for when I use one hash sign, it is bigger than when I use two. So when you use just one hash sign, it is the biggest. When you make it two, it reduces. When you make it three, it will keep reducing depending on how the size you want. Okay, so this is what I wanted to highlight here. This is it here. This is for this two here. Is that first one. This is it. The biggest one is when I use one hash sign. So another thing I want to highlight here is that here, look at the knit. The knit is what it is. It is bolded. It was highlighted among other words. Why? Because we use double asterisks before and after the knit. And another thing that I wanted to also highlight is that in writing, in using R Markdown, you can also add up a link and make it live in the document so that the person will click on it and it will take the person to the URL. Okay, so how do you do it? You use the less than and the greater than sign before and after the URL, and when you use this sign, it will in the live document, in the final document, it will be live such that the person I can go ahead and click this thing and it will take me to the website for me to read further. So you see that it has a lot of flexibility. All right, so this is by the way. Then another thing, look at here. Here is the code summary of cars, and here is the results. Why it added both code and the results? Because by default we have set echo to be equals to true. That is what I was emphasizing on. This is it here. By default, echo is equals to true. Okay, so now I went ahead again to tell you that there might be a situation you don't want the code to show, you just want the result, that you can go ahead and put echo equals to false in that particular chunk of code. So this is what we did here, and look at the result. You can see here it went ahead just to write the title, which is including plots. We use a double hash sign, that's why it is bold, big, the font size is bigger. All right, and then it went ahead to print the result. The result is the plot of what? Temperature and pressure. All right, you find out that there is no code. Okay, let's go ahead and give this plot a title. You can say main is equals to, I can say pressure versus temperature. All right, so we can give it a title. So if I go ahead and knit this thing again to HTML, so this is the title, pressure versus temperature. So but there is no code added, okay, because of what we put echo equals to false. So that is how to go about it. So you see that this has a lot of functionality and it is very interesting. So another thing that you will notice again is that look at the way it wrote this. It is trying to make emphasis on this, that echo equals to false. It is trying to explain it further. How did this highlighting came up is that you can also add this is the back tick sign, and then you can use another tick sign before and after whatever you've written, and it will display it in this form. It will display it in this form to catch the sight of the reader. Okay, so it will make it different from other words, just like the way we did highlighted needs here. We bolded it. So you can see that looking at this document is very good. It looks cool. All right. So without wasting much time, can we go ahead and knit it to Word document? Yes, we can do that. When you click knit to Word document, it will still do the same process. It will go and open your Word document straight up, and this is it. Wow, it brings it out in our this is my Word document. This is the title, this is the author, this is the date, this is the R Markdown when I use double hash symbol, and this is when I use just one hash symbol. You can see the difference. This is the link. It is also live here. You understand? When you hold down control and you click this link, it will take you to the website. Then this is the net. It is also active here. This is a plotted both. This is both the code and the results. You understand? But here, this is just the result. And look at the way you wrote here. You wrote echo equals to false, like when you use the backtick in front, before and after the word. So it was not really that too obvious, unlike how it was in HTML outputs. So that is by the way. So let's go ahead and do for PDF. PDF has some. Before you do for PDF, you need to install a package called Tiny Text. It's very important. If you don't install it, it will not work. So how you install it? You say you have a Tiny Text. Tiny Text. You can use a double colon. You say install underscore Tiny Text. All right. So when you do this, you can go ahead and control enter. So install tiny. Okay, this is Tiny Text. Control enter. Look at what it's saying when it says that found this I have already installed Tiny Text. That is what it's saying here. Look at it here. It's trying to tell me that I already have Tiny Text. But if I want to continue with the installation, I can go ahead and say yes or no. All right. I don't need to install the Tiny Text again. But for you, you need to install this. All right. So since I've already installed it, I don't need to install it again. But in your own case, you need to install this before you proceed to knit it to a PDF. So since I've installed it, I'll go back to my R Markdown, and when I get there, I will go ahead and say knit to what PDF, provided you've installed the Tiny Text. If you did not install it, it will give you error. All right. So if I need to PDF, it will go the process, then it will open it up. This is the PDF. Wow, look at how good it looks. So this is the title, the tutorial. This is the author, the Felix the analyst, and then this is the date, and this is the same thing. This is when I use the double hash sign. This is when I use the just one hash sign, which is the biggest. So this is also that neat. And then another thing, look at that document. I just clicked on it to open up. All right, let me go back. This is what I'm talking about. That means this website is very much alive. Okay, it's very much alive. When you click it to open up, maybe for instance you are writing a report, you can as well add some live. Maybe you're talking about your paper, you want to make a reference, you can make it in live in such a way that the reader can easily click in the link and it will take the reader to the website to read further about whatever you are talking about. So this, by the way, this is the notes. You can see how it is bolded because we use the asterisk sign, double asterisk before and after the word. So I want to also look at the echo equals to first. It was not that too highlighted on the way it was highlighted in HTML, but at least you can see the difference. It is different from other words. This is it here. This is when you use the backtick before and after the word. So you can as well see here, this is just the result. There is no code attached for the plot because we used echo equals to false. But here you can see this is the code and this is the word result. So, and this is you can as well write as much as you want, as I've explained about R Markdown. So R Markdown, I normally use it because it offers a lot of flexibility that you can that will make your work very much easier. So remember again that I said that when you go to new file and you go to R Markdown, that you have other options. You have for presentation, you have for shining, or you can as well explore this thing, and I will make further videos on them about them. But for this video, we'll be stopping at the document just to introduce you to R Markdown and what it can do. Yeah, thank you so much for watching the video, and as well you can also give us your comment, what you want us to explore together, and areas that you want us to touch. Okay, so those your comments helps us to grow. It helps us to know that yes, at least we are offering something important. So also remember to subscribe and so that you get notification when our new videos are posted. Thank you so much, and remain blessed.